We are living in a moment when the safety of every American family is being bargained away, state by state, lane by lane, regulatory loophole by loophole. Today I want to talk about an emergency action announced by Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy that threatens to change the rules of the road for good. This is not a policy tweak, it is a frontal assault on decades of bureaucratic neglect. A crackdown on what Duffy calls dangerous foreign drivers operating massive 80,000-pound rigs courtesy of lax licensing rules. Let's walk it back. The Department of Transportation, through the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, conducted a nationwide audit into how states issue non-domiciled commercial learners permits and commercial driver's licenses given to people who do not live in the issuing state, often foreign nationals. What they found was jaw-dropping. States issuing licenses to drivers who are ineligible under existing rules or whose legal presence in the US had already expired. In California alone, more than a quarter of non-domiciled CDLs under review were improperly issued, some valid years beyond lawful presence. One case, a Venezuelan driver endorsed to drive school buses holding a license months after his visa had lapsed. Duffy's response, effective immediately, non-citizens who hold no employment visa or fail federal vetting will be barred from receiving or renewing a non-domiciled CDL. And to states like California, stop issuing such licenses, revoke non-compliant ones, or lose hundreds of millions in federal highway funds. Duffy frames it as a matter of public safety. Massive trucks driven by unqualified people who may not even speak English navigating US roads. He ties it directly to multiple fatal crashes involving non-domiciled CDL holders. But this is not just enforcement. This is theater, strategy, spectacle. And we need to parse motive, impact, and backlash. Let's start with pushback from the trucking world. The Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association has publicly backed a freeze on all non-domiciled CDLs until stricter vetting and audit steps are in place. They demand full 10-year driving history checks in all jurisdictions. Why? Because independent drivers see this as a wage and safety issue. Unvetted foreign entrants undercutting pay, operating under looser scrutiny, increasing risk across the board. There are critics too. Some analysts warn there is no credible national study proving that non-domiciled CDL drivers are inherently more dangerous. But that defense feels weak when tragedies are piling up. For example, the Florida crash where a non-domiciled driver made an illegal U-turn and killed 3 people. Duffy pointed to that as an emblematic of system failure. Now, politically, this move is calculated to hit progressive states like California, Washington, and New Mexico, those that historically issue licenses regardless of immigration status. Duffy has already threatened to pull funding if they don't enforce English language proficiency rules for tractor-trailer operators. These states responded defensively. Newsom's office claimed the Trump administration had themselves authorized the work permit for the Florida driver. Washington says it's investigating its issuance practices. New Mexico says it's adopting an English requirement soon. Notice what's happening. Every major argument is reframed into identity and jurisdiction. It's not just roads and safety. It's about who gets to enforce, who decides, and which states bend versus buckle. What makes this move dangerous for both sides is its impulse towards centralized coercion. The federal government is weaponizing highway funds to subjugate state decisions. If California loses billions, the political backlash will be immense. If Duffy backs down, the narrative of weakness takes over. Let's not ignore the economic angle either. Some in the trucking call this labor dumping. Drivers entering with lower wages and fewer checks, undermining domestic drivers. Duffy pairs it with policy. He's also pushing loans, infrastructure expansion, and deregulation of red tape. Caps in one hand, carrots in the other. Right now, 3 states have 30 days to comply with the English language and CDL crackdown or lose motor carrier safety assistance program funding. If the funds are pulled, the effects ripple. Maintenance budgets, inspection programs, enforcement patrols, those will all suffer. If Duffy does not follow through, this becomes a symbolic bluff. What do I expect? Some face-saving compromises. Maybe a staggered revocation schedule, litigation from states, maybe Congress steps in. Either way, this is a tectonic battle over federal power, states' rights, immigration, and public safety. As viewers, we should ask, are we safer when Washington outlaws lax CDL issuance? Or are we risking overreach, selective enforcement, political retaliation? Imagine a future where any regulation, immigration, language, permitting becomes tied to highway funds. One misstep by a state and roads go dark. That's not governance. That's coercion. But in the short term, Duffy has a strong hand. The audit, public attention, fatalities, and the moral frame of danger to families. The states are reeling. The truckers are watching. The country must decide, do we trust central authority or demand accountability in every jurisdiction? I'll leave you with this. No matter how you slice it, this is a turning point. Whether it ends in crackdown or chaos, it will define whose rule the roads run by. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.